Do you think true happiness is out of reach? Most of us do. We find ourselves chasing it through success, relationships, and endless new starts, yet feeling empty. But what if I told you that you don't need to keep chasing? The Stoics believed real peace and fulfillment are possible, but they don't come from anything external. In the words of Epictetus, people are not disturbed by things, but by the view they take of them. Imagine if it wasn't the world or circumstances that caused stress, but simply our own reaction to them. This is one of the first Stoic truths that will change the way you live forever, if you're ready to see things differently. Most of us live as if life is something that happens to us, but the Stoics saw it as something we actively shape with our minds and choices. Think about that. Imagine taking control of your reactions, your emotions, and, ultimately, your peace. By understanding just a few core Stoic insights, you can begin truly living from a place of stability and purpose, regardless of the chaos around you. Ready to dive into these ancient truths and finally take control of your life? Make sure you hit subscribe, because each lesson we'll explore will be like a key unlocking a new level of resilience and clarity. And if you think this might help someone else, give it a thumbs up or share, because who doesn't want a little more peace in their life? Mastering your reactions, the key to inner peace. When was the last time someone cut you off in traffic, said something rude, or made you feel small? In those moments, how did you react? Did anger rise up? Did you feel hurt or defensive? Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This simple idea is the foundation of Stoicism, that true power comes from controlling your reactions, not from trying to control the world. Let's dive into what that really means. The Stoics believed that while we can't control what others say or do, we have complete control over how we respond. Imagine being able to walk through life without letting every small annoyance knock you off balance. Sounds freeing, doesn't it? That's the power Stoicism offers, a way to master our reactions and create an unshakable sense of peace and control within ourselves. Think of your mind as a calm lake. When life throws stones, be it frustration, anger, or fear, they create ripples disturbing that calm. But what if, instead of reacting to every stone, you learned to let them sink, with your calm surface quickly returning? The Stoics trained themselves to do exactly this. Rather than reacting with anger, they trained their minds to respond thoughtfully, knowing that their peace was too valuable to be disrupted by every passing annoyance. So how can you start practicing this? First, develop awareness. Notice the next time you feel yourself getting angry or frustrated. Instead of reacting immediately, pause and take a deep breath. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." This quote is a reminder that our reactions are in our control. When you feel that urge to snap or argue, ask yourself, is this reaction worth my peace? Often you'll find that it isn't. Here's a practical way to integrate this. Create a reaction delay rule for yourself. When you feel triggered, make it a rule to take 3 slow breaths before saying or doing anything. You might be surprised how much that tiny delay changes things. Often it will soften the intensity of your initial reaction, giving you a clearer perspective. You may realize that the comment from a coworker isn't worth stressing over, or that the driver who cut you off is just a minor annoyance in your day. This practice, as simple as it sounds, can be life-changing. With time, you'll find yourself less disturbed by things that used to upset you. This isn't about suppressing your emotions or pretending to be unaffected. It's about giving yourself the freedom to choose how to respond rather than being a puppet to every passing emotion. This is the Stoic way, to remain in control no matter what life throws at you. Over time, you'll notice a profound shift in how you feel. Imagine moving through your days with a sense of calm, unaffected by minor inconveniences or others' opinions. You'll find yourself becoming more resilient, your happiness less dependent on others, and your peace more grounded. The ability to master your reactions isn't a quick fix. It's a skill developed over time. But by embracing this Stoic truth and practicing it daily, you can gain a level of self-control that makes life's challenges feel manageable. So, start today. Next time you're tempted to react, pause, breathe, and choose peace. Your life will begin to change in ways you never thought possible. Focus on what you can control, let go of the rest. How much time do we waste worrying about things we can't control? The Stoics understood this trap well and offered a powerful truth to free us from it. Only focus on what you can control, let go of the rest. Epictetus put it simply. Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. The idea here is to recognize that so much of what we fret over, other people's opinions, outcomes we can't guarantee, and even the weather, are beyond our control. When we put our energy into what we can actually influence, we find ourselves living with greater peace and purpose. Imagine your energy like a limited currency, one that you can spend in only a few places each day. Every time we invest energy into things outside our control, like ruminating over what someone else thinks or worrying about a distant outcome, we're draining ourselves needlessly. The Stoics would encourage us to ask, what can I actually control in this situation? This mindset doesn't mean ignoring external issues, but rather seeing them clearly and investing our energy only where it will make a real difference. Let's take a concrete example. Say you're preparing for a job interview, and you feel anxious about whether the interviewers will like you or if you'll get the job. There are parts of this situation you can control, like how prepared you are, how well you present yourself, and the enthusiasm you bring. But there are also many parts you can't control, like the interviewer's biases or the company's decision-making process. The Stoic approach would be to focus intently on the things you can control, such as refining your answers, dressing appropriately, and managing your nerves. This isn't just practical, it's freeing. You're giving your best to the things within your reach and letting go of the rest. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When we take this Stoic lesson to heart, it creates a sense of stability within us. Instead of feeling helpless in situations we can't fully manage, we feel grounded, knowing we've done what we can. This practice also reduces anxiety. When we're focused on controllable actions, our mental energy isn't wasted on hypothetical what-ifs, but is directed at making real, tangible progress. So how do we begin to integrate this Stoic truth into daily life? Start by practicing awareness. When you feel yourself getting worked up, pause and ask, is this within my control? If it isn't, try to redirect your focus to something that is. Let's say you're worried about an upcoming test. Instead of stressing over the possible questions, channel that energy into studying effectively. If you're waiting on a friend who's late, instead of feeling frustrated, recognize that you can't control their punctuality, but you can control your response, perhaps by using the time to read or meditate. This shift in thinking doesn't happen overnight. It's a habit that grows with time and practice. But once you start embracing this principle, you'll notice a powerful difference in your emotional well-being. Challenges become easier to handle, and things that used to drive you to stress start to feel less significant. It's like clearing out mental clutter, leaving you with only the things you can truly influence. By focusing on what you can control and letting go of what you can't, you become more resilient, grounded, and prepared to face life's unpredictability with confidence. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, remember, invest your energy wisely. As the Stoics would say, master what's within your reach and let go of the rest. This practice alone can change your life forever. Embrace discomfort. Growth lies outside the comfort zone. In a world where we often avoid discomfort, the Stoics offered a refreshingly different approach. Embrace it. To the Stoics, facing discomfort wasn't something to dread, but a necessary path to becoming stronger, wiser, and more resilient. As Seneca put it, difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. This mindset invites us to view discomfort not as something to run from, but as a tool that hones our character and helps us reach our highest potential. Think about the areas of your life where you feel stuck or unfulfilled. Chances are these are places where you've chosen comfort over challenge. Maybe it's staying in a job that doesn't fulfill you because it's familiar, avoiding a tough conversation because it feels awkward, or putting off a new workout routine because it feels demanding. The Stoics would argue that if we never step out of our comfort zones, we never grow. Just as muscles need resistance to get stronger, our minds and spirits need challenges to develop resilience. But how do we start embracing discomfort without feeling overwhelmed? The key lies in reframing our perspective. Rather than seeing discomfort as an enemy, we can start to view it as a teacher. The Stoics saw hardship as a means of cultivating virtues like patience, courage, and wisdom. Epictetus advised his students to endure and renounce as a way of strengthening their minds, reminding them that true freedom lies in learning to handle difficulties with grace. This doesn't mean seeking out suffering needlessly, but rather understanding that life will bring discomfort our way, and it's up to us to decide how we'll respond. Consider this: the next time you encounter something difficult, a tough decision, an uncomfortable conversation, or a challenging task, try leaning into it rather than avoiding it. Say you're afraid of public speaking, but an opportunity arises to present in front of your team. You could avoid it and stay safe, or you could push yourself to take it on. Yes, it might be nerve-wracking, but by confronting this discomfort, you expand your capabilities and open the door to personal growth. And with each small act of courage, discomfort loses its grip on you, and you become more at ease with stepping up when life calls for it. One way to regularly practice this Stoic lesson is by incorporating small, intentional acts of discomfort into your daily routine. The Stoics often practiced voluntary discomfort, like skipping a meal or taking a cold bath, to remind themselves that they could endure. While you don't need to go to extremes, you can adopt a similar habit. Try taking a cold shower, leaving your phone behind on a walk, or challenging yourself to say yes to a task you'd usually shy away from. These small acts can remind you that discomfort is temporary and that you're stronger than you often realize. With time, you'll find that embracing discomfort becomes less intimidating. It's like training a muscle. The more you do it, the more resilient you become. You'll notice yourself handling challenges with a newfound calm, less reactive to unexpected setbacks, and more prepared to navigate life's inevitable ups and downs. This is what the Stoics meant by building inner strength. It's about cultivating a sense of capability that isn't easily shaken by external events. By making discomfort a friend rather than a foe, you can unlock growth that would otherwise remain out of reach. Life's greatest rewards, confidence, resilience, self-respect, are often on the other side of what feels uncomfortable. So, in the spirit of the Stoics, let's view each challenge as an opportunity to grow, and remember that the path to a fulfilling life often begins where our comfort zone ends. Practice gratitude. Recognize the abundance in your life. Gratitude is often spoken about today, but the Stoics saw it as more than a feel-good exercise. It was a powerful tool for shaping perspective and building resilience. In a world where it's easy to focus on what's lacking, the Stoics practiced gratitude as a daily discipline, encouraging themselves to acknowledge the value of what they already had. Seneca wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." This wisdom invites us to see that fulfillment doesn't come from having more, but from truly appreciating what we already have. We are surrounded by messages that we need more money, more success, more recognition, to be happy. This constant drive for more keeps us in a cycle of dissatisfaction, always feeling that happiness is just one step beyond our current reach. But the Stoics flipped this mindset, teaching that contentment lies not in adding to our lives, but in recognizing the worth of what's already there. Gratitude, then, is a radical practice because it allows us to shift from a mindset of scarcity to one of abundance. It trains us to see value in things we might otherwise overlook: a warm meal, a friend's kindness, a moment of peace. This simple shift can make a significant difference in how we experience life. Practicing gratitude as the Stoics did means making it a conscious part of each day. Try starting your day by naming 3 things you're genuinely grateful for. This doesn't need to be grand. Often the simplest things bring the most grounding sense of gratitude. Perhaps it's the comfort of a warm bed, the support of family, or the chance to start fresh each morning. By bringing your attention to these things, you're actively training your mind to recognize the positive, building a habit that gradually shifts your perspective to a more appreciative and fulfilled state. Gratitude is also incredibly powerful when things aren't going well. The Stoics saw adversity as an opportunity to deepen their practice of gratitude, finding ways to be thankful even in challenging times. Marcus Aurelius, for example, reminded himself to receive without pride, let go without attachment. This mindset teaches us to appreciate what we have while it's here and to gracefully accept change when it arrives. Practicing gratitude in moments of difficulty doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect. Rather, it's about finding small pockets of positivity, even in hardship. If you're going through a tough time, try asking yourself, what lesson is this teaching me? Or what strengths am I developing through this? This exercise can remind you that even challenges can hold something to be grateful for. One way to deepen this practice is to end each day with a gratitude reflection. Think back over the past 24 hours and identify something specific you're thankful for. This could be a person, an experience, or even something you accomplished. Over time, this habit rewires your brain to notice the good things in life more naturally, helping to reduce stress and increase happiness. By practicing gratitude, you're not ignoring life's struggles, but actively choosing to see beyond them. This Stoic lesson reveals that when we focus on what we already have, life becomes richer and more satisfying. Gratitude opens our eyes to the abundance around us and shows us that, often, we already have enough. In this way, gratitude isn't just a passing feeling, it's a mindset that builds resilience, keeps us grounded, and helps us approach life's ups and downs with a fuller heart. Accept impermanence. Embrace life's transient nature. One of the most powerful Stoic lessons is the acceptance of impermanence, the understanding that nothing in life is permanent and everything we experience is subject to change. This idea can be unsettling at first. After all, most of us crave stability and tend to cling to the people, things, and circumstances we hold dear. Yet, by learning to accept the impermanent nature of life, the Stoics found a profound freedom and peace that allowed them to navigate life's changes with grace. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Loss is nothing else but change. and change is nature's delight. This principle invites us to embrace change as a natural part of existence rather than something to fear or resist. In today's fast-paced world, we often fight against the transient nature of things. We become attached to our possessions, relationships, status, and even our health, hoping they'll remain constant. However, this attachment can lead to suffering when, inevitably, these things shift or fade away. The Stoics understood that true peace lies in acknowledging that all things are temporary and that clinging too tightly can lead to pain. By learning to accept life's impermanence, we're able to experience and appreciate each moment fully without the fear of losing it. Imagine how freeing it would feel to love, work, and live without the constant anxiety of trying to hold on. Accepting impermanence doesn't mean we become detached or indifferent. It actually deepens our appreciation. The Stoics practiced memento mori, or the remembrance of mortality, to remind themselves daily that life is fleeting. This was not a morbid exercise, but a way to cherish life more fully. When we recognize that each moment, each relationship, each day is unique and temporary, we become more present, savoring experiences with a richer awareness. Rather than worrying about losing what we have, we begin to see the value in simply having it, even if just for a time. By embracing impermanence, we make space for gratitude and appreciation, understanding that change is not a loss, but part of life's natural rhythm. A practical way to practice this lesson is to reflect on something you cherish, perhaps a relationship, a skill, or even your current life phase. Imagine for a moment that it won't last forever. While this may feel uncomfortable, it serves as a reminder to fully appreciate what you have now. Rather than taking things for granted or overlooking them, you begin to see their true value. Epictetus urged us to approach everything and everyone in life as if on loan, realizing that at any moment we might have to return what we love. This doesn't make us love any less. In fact, it teaches us to love more deeply because we're no longer clouded by the illusion that things will always stay the same. Another powerful exercise is to release something small you're holding on to, a grudge, an outdated belief, or even a material possession. Notice how letting go feels, how it frees up space mentally and emotionally. When we release our grip on things, we create space for new experiences, perspectives, and growth. Accepting impermanence doesn't mean denying our emotions or never feeling sad at loss. Rather, it teaches us resilience, showing us that we can move through life's changes with strength and acceptance. When we accept impermanence, we gain a clearer perspective on what truly matters. Instead of getting lost in the pursuit of forever, we focus on fully experiencing the now. This lesson helps us approach life's inevitable changes with grace, understanding that loss and change are not enemies but essential parts of life's journey. By embracing impermanence, we learn to live with an open heart, to savor the present moment, and to move forward with courage, knowing that every chapter, no matter how brief, has its own beauty and significance. Control your desires. Seek contentment from within. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is the mastery over one's desires, the understanding that true contentment doesn't come from external pleasures or possessions, but from inner stability. The Stoics believed that constantly chasing after material wealth, social status, or fleeting pleasures can lead us into a trap of endless wanting, never truly satisfied and always looking for more. Seneca captured this idea when he said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." By learning to control our desires, we gain a profound sense of peace and contentment, free from the cycle of constantly seeking fulfillment outside ourselves. In our modern world, we're bombarded with messages that equate happiness with the next big purchase, achievement, or experience. We're encouraged to buy more, earn more, and achieve more to feel successful and happy. But this endless pursuit can actually lead to more frustration and dissatisfaction because there's always something else to want. The Stoics argued that happiness rooted in external things is fragile. It depends on circumstances that can change in an instant. Real peace, they taught, is found in controlling our desires, learning to be content with what we have, and realizing that lasting fulfillment comes from within. To practice this Stoic lesson, start by examining your desires and asking yourself why you want certain things. Are you seeking a new car because it brings joy, or because you believe it will make you look successful? Do you desire a higher status at work because it aligns with your purpose, or because it offers validation? By questioning the motives behind our desires, we often find that we're pursuing things that don't align with our true values or won't bring the lasting satisfaction we expect. The Stoics encouraged us to recognize that genuine happiness isn't found in these externals, but in our mindset and attitude toward life. One practical way to exercise control over your desires is to try voluntary simplicity, making a conscious choice to go without certain luxuries or conveniences temporarily. This could mean spending a weekend without your phone, choosing to eat simple meals, or abstaining from unnecessary purchases for a time. By practicing voluntary simplicity, we begin to see that we don't actually need as much as we think to be content. We learn to appreciate the things we already have and realize that happiness doesn't rely on acquiring more. Epictetus advised, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." This approach teaches us to find joy and peace in the present, in what we already have, rather than always reaching for the next thing. This doesn't mean that we can't have goals or enjoy material comforts, but it reminds us not to let these things define our happiness. Controlling our desires allows us to live with a sense of freedom, unburdened by the constant urge for more. We become less reactive, more resilient, and capable of finding joy in simple moments and relationships. Instead of placing our happiness on external factors we can't control, we cultivate it within ourselves, becoming self-reliant and less vulnerable to life's fluctuations. By mastering our desires, we create a more stable and grounded life, one that isn't easily shaken by external losses or gains. We learn to enjoy life's blessings without becoming attached, and we find a deeper satisfaction that's based not on what we acquire, but on who we are. This Stoic approach to desires helps us cultivate a sense of contentment that remains steady, regardless of what life brings. When we seek contentment from within, we experience a more enduring peace, one that's truly our own. Practice self-discipline, build inner strength through consistency. For the Stoics, self-discipline was not just a moral virtue, but the bedrock of a fulfilling life. They saw discipline as essential for building resilience, maintaining inner peace, and achieving true freedom from the whims of emotions and external distractions. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This statement highlights the Stoic belief that real freedom comes from within, from the ability to control our actions and choices rather than being ruled by impulses, distractions, or fleeting desires. In essence, practicing self-discipline enables us to build a life that's governed by purpose and inner strength rather than external circumstances. A powerful way to start practicing self-discipline is to set small, achievable goals and consistently follow through with them, even when it's inconvenient or difficult. Maybe that means committing to a daily exercise routine, sticking to a study schedule, or spending a few minutes each day reflecting or journaling. The key is to start small and build momentum gradually. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher-emperor, was a living example of discipline. In his journal, he reminded himself daily to rise and begin again, even when he was weary or uninspired. For Marcus, discipline wasn't just about achieving external success, but cultivating a mind that could stay steady and focused, regardless of the challenges he faced. This commitment to discipline is empowering because it shifts control back to us. With time, self-discipline becomes a form of inner strength that extends beyond specific habits or routines. It becomes a source of resilience, enabling us to handle life's uncertainties without falling apart. Self-discipline empowers us to act in accordance with our values and purpose, even in challenging times. It's the steady force that allows us to shape our lives intentionally, to push past momentary impulses, and to focus on the long-term goals that bring true satisfaction. Practicing self-discipline, as the Stoics did, helps us develop a foundation of strength that no external force can easily shake, creating a life that's resilient, purposeful, and deeply fulfilling. Cultivate compassion. Strengthen yourself by serving others. While Stoicism is often associated with personal resilience and inner strength, the Stoics deeply valued compassion as an essential aspect of a meaningful life. To the Stoics, true strength didn't just mean enduring hardship, but also supporting others and lifting those around us. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Man is born for deeds of kindness." This statement reflects the Stoic belief that we are inherently connected to one another, and that fulfilling our potential means contributing to the welfare of others. Practicing compassion doesn't weaken us. In fact, it strengthens us, building resilience and grounding us in purpose beyond ourselves. It's easy to think of compassion as something extra that we'll get to once our own needs are met. But the Stoics taught that a compassionate mindset actually strengthens our character, bringing a sense of shared humanity that makes life's difficulties easier to bear. By caring for others and offering our support, we also deepen our empathy, which allows us to better handle our own challenges with grace. When we are attuned to others' needs, we learn patience, perspective, and emotional flexibility, qualities that help us in our personal growth and relationships. The Stoics understood that compassion is not a weakness or distraction from personal goals, but an essential component of a well-lived life, one that brings profound satisfaction and meaning. Practicing compassion from a Stoic perspective starts with small, intentional acts. This could mean listening more actively to a friend who's going through a tough time, showing kindness to a stranger, or offering help without expecting anything in return. Compassion doesn't always require grand gestures. Even small acts can make a big difference. By being present and responsive to others, we exercise our empathy muscles and grow more resilient. Compassion also serves as a reminder of our shared struggles. When we help others, we remember that everyone faces difficulties, which can put our own problems in perspective. It shifts our focus outward, relieving us of the constant self-centered worry that often leads to anxiety and stress. Seneca advised that wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for a kindness. This Stoic view teaches that we are all interconnected and that our well-being is tied to the well-being of others. By fostering this sense of community, we create a support network that sustains us in times of hardship. Practicing compassion builds relationships rooted in genuine care, offering emotional resilience during tough times. When we give to others, we are often lifted ourselves. The act of helping strengthens our sense of purpose, gives us a reason to persevere, and connects us to something greater than our individual lives. Incorporating compassion into daily life can be as simple as asking yourself each morning, How can I make someone's day better? Small, consistent efforts, whether they're expressions of gratitude, a helping hand, or just a warm smile, have a ripple effect, building a habit of kindness. When compassion becomes a natural part of our behavior, it transforms how we approach life's challenges. We begin to see adversity not just as an individual experience, but as part of the collective human journey, making us more resilient and less isolated. Ultimately, practicing compassion aligns with the Stoic ideal of living in harmony with nature and humanity. When we cultivate kindness toward others, we live in a way that is deeply connected and purposeful. Compassion doesn't detract from our inner strength. It reinforces it, helping us remain grounded and focused on what truly matters. Through compassion, we build a world and a life that is both resilient and fulfilling. The Stoics saw compassion not just as an obligation, but as an opportunity to live fully and meaningfully, strengthening both ourselves and the world around us. Embrace adversity. See obstacles as opportunities for growth. One of the most powerful Stoic principles is the idea that adversity isn't just something to be endured, but an opportunity to be embraced, a stepping stone for personal growth. The Stoics believed that life's obstacles serve as tests of our character, providing us with a chance to build resilience, strengthen our virtues, and deepen our understanding of ourselves. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This perspective doesn't just help us cope with challenges, it transforms them into powerful catalysts for growth. By embracing adversity, we learn to approach life's difficulties with a mindset that turns obstacles into opportunities for improvement. In today's world, we're often encouraged to avoid hardship, seek comfort, and choose the path of least resistance. However, Stoicism teaches us that growth occurs precisely when we face difficult situations head-on. Adversity challenges us to go beyond our limits, forcing us to discover strengths and capacities we didn't know we had. Instead of asking, "Why me?" when faced with challenges, the Stoics would encourage us to ask, "What can I learn from this?" This shift in perspective helps us see every difficulty as a chance to develop resilience, patience, courage, or any other quality that will make us stronger and wiser. Embracing adversity doesn't mean we ignore pain or pretend that challenges don't affect us. Rather, it's about choosing to view our struggles as meaningful, as part of a larger journey of growth. Each setback, disappointment, or failure becomes an opportunity to build skills, refine our approach, or strengthen our resolve. Epictetus famously said, "Difficulties show a person to themselves." It's often in our darkest moments that we see our true selves, revealing what we're capable of when circumstances test us. When we choose to meet adversity with a positive mindset, we not only endure, but emerge transformed, with a deeper sense of purpose and inner strength. One practical way to cultivate this Stoic mindset is by reframing challenges as training for life's larger difficulties. Just as athletes build physical strength by enduring physical stress, we build mental and emotional strength by facing life's tests with resolve. When you encounter an obstacle, try consciously shifting your thoughts. Instead of seeing it as a setback, view it as an exercise in resilience, a test that will prepare you for future challenges. This approach doesn't eliminate hardship, but it makes it more manageable, giving you a sense of agency and control in even the most difficult situations. By consistently viewing adversity through a Stoic lens, you'll begin to find that life's obstacles no longer feel like personal failures or insurmountable roadblocks. Instead, they become a path for growth, shaping you into a stronger, more capable person with each experience. The Stoics understood that adversity is unavoidable, but how we respond to it is always within our power. Embracing adversity with an open mind and a courageous heart allows us to transform even the most challenging circumstances into moments of personal development. Over time, this approach helps us cultivate a sense of gratitude for life's challenges, understanding that each one, no matter how difficult, has something valuable to teach. By seeing adversity as a pathway to growth, we build resilience, confidence, and a deep sense of inner peace, knowing that we are equipped to face whatever comes our way. Embracing adversity, as the Stoics taught, empowers us to live with purpose and strength, making life's inevitable challenges not something to fear, but an opportunity to grow into our fullest selves. Reflect daily, cultivate self-awareness and growth. One of the most transformative practices the Stoics advocated was daily reflection, a habit of looking inward to examine one's actions, thoughts, and motivations. The Stoics believed that a meaningful life was one grounded in self-awareness, and they understood that regular reflection was key to cultivating a virtuous and resilient character. Marcus Aurelius, in his journal, reminded himself daily to reflect on his actions and intentions, writing in Meditations not as a public work, but as a personal practice for self-improvement. He believed, as all Stoics did, that by looking inward each day, we can keep ourselves aligned with our values, strengthen our virtues, and grow wiser over time. Daily reflection also allows us to correct course in real time. If we notice that we acted out of impatience or ego, we can make a conscious effort to act differently tomorrow. Seneca advised, "Each night we should call ourselves to account. What infirmity have I mastered today? What passions opposed? What temptation resisted? What virtue acquired?" This simple practice of nightly reflection lets us assess our progress and identify areas for improvement. A practical way to incorporate this Stoic lesson is to set aside just 5 to 10 minutes at the end of each day to journal or simply meditate on your actions and thoughts. Consider questions like, what went well today? What could I have done better? Did I stay true to my values? By regularly asking ourselves these questions, we develop a habit of mindfulness that keeps us connected to our purpose. Over time, this practice builds self-awareness, helping us make more intentional choices, better understand our emotions, and grow more resilient in the face of challenges. Ultimately, daily reflection offers us a chance to live more deeply and intentionally, grounding us in our core values and reminding us of what truly matters. By adopting this Stoic habit, we gain a clearer sense of purpose, a stronger sense of self, and a resilient mindset prepared for whatever life brings. Live according to your values, align actions with purpose. The final and perhaps most central lesson of Stoic philosophy is the call to live in alignment with your values. The Stoics believed that a life of fulfillment and inner peace could only be achieved when one's actions consistently reflected their true values and principles. Living according to values, rather than whims or external pressures, allows us to cultivate a life rooted in purpose, clarity, and integrity. Seneca spoke to this when he wrote, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." This sentiment reflects the Stoic commitment to self-honesty and surrounding oneself with influences that support a virtuous life. When we live according to our values, we build a foundation that remains unshaken by the turbulence of life's challenges. In today's fast-paced, expectation-driven world, staying true to personal values can feel difficult. We're often swayed by external demands, societal expectations, or the desire for acceptance, which can lead us to make choices that don't align with our core principles. Stoicism teaches that true contentment and inner strength come from adhering to values like honesty, kindness, patience, and humility, regardless of what's popular or convenient. The first step in aligning with one's values is understanding what they are. Take time to identify the principles that are most important to you, whether it's integrity, compassion, courage, or resilience. Write them down and reflect on how these values have shaped you. Then, consider how well your daily actions and decisions reflect these ideals. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself to act in accordance with reason and virtue, reinforcing the importance of self-accountability. By regularly checking in with ourselves, we can ensure that our lives reflect the things we believe in, rather than reacting impulsively or succumbing to external pressures. Living in alignment with values isn't always easy, especially when it means making tough choices. For example, you may value honesty but feel tempted to bend the truth in certain situations, or you might value generosity but hesitate to give when it's inconvenient. The Stoic response is to remember that each decision is an opportunity to reinforce your values and build the character you wish to embody. Seneca taught that consistency is key, reminding us that virtues grow stronger with practice. Each time we act according to our values, we reinforce them, making it easier to stay true in future situations. Ultimately, living by our values brings a profound sense of satisfaction and authenticity to our lives. When we act in harmony with our ideals, we free ourselves from regret, self-doubt, and the approval of others. The Stoics believed this alignment with values is the path to true freedom, a life where we're not controlled by external forces, but are guided by a steady inner compass. Embracing this principle allows us to live with intention, grounded in a purpose that no outside force can take away. By living according to our values, we create a legacy of integrity, courage, and meaning that echoes long beyond our days. Embrace the present moment, find fulfillment in the here and now. The Stoics taught that true peace and fulfillment lie not in chasing after the future or dwelling on the past, but in fully embracing the present moment. They believed that the only reality we truly possess is the now, and that we waste precious energy and joy by either longing for what is to come or regretting what has already passed. Marcus Aurelius, in his reflections, reminded himself to confine yourself to the present. This Stoic practice of grounding oneself in the present isn't merely about living mindlessly in the moment. Rather, it's about engaging meaningfully with the here and now, the only time in which we can truly act, feel, and make choices. By embracing this lesson, we open ourselves to a life that feels more vibrant, purposeful, and peaceful. In today's fast-paced world, it's common to find ourselves stuck in cycles of anticipation or worry, thinking about tomorrow's tasks, next month's goals, or replaying yesterday's mistakes. However, the Stoics believed that obsessing over the future or past prevents us from experiencing the richness of life as it is. When we're always focused on what's next or what was, we miss the opportunity to fully appreciate what's unfolding in the present moment. This habit of mind can lead to chronic dissatisfaction as we overlook the beauty, relationships, and experiences that are right in front of us. For the Stoics, contentment wasn't something to be found in an ideal future. It was available to us right here, in the moment, if we only chose to see it. This focus on the present is also a powerful antidote to anxiety and regret. When we direct our thoughts to what we're doing right now, we reduce the power of what-ifs and should-haves. By keeping our minds centered in the present, we gain clarity and calm, finding freedom from the endless worries that often plague us. The Stoics understood that we can only control our current actions and thoughts. The future is unknown, and the past is unchangeable. Accepting this reality allows us to approach life with a sense of peace and humility, knowing that the present moment is both our most powerful tool and our true home. A practical way to integrate this lesson is by setting small, intentional reminders throughout the day. When you catch yourself drifting into thoughts of the future or past, gently bring your focus back to the present. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, what can I appreciate right now? This shift in focus doesn't erase past regrets or eliminate future plans. Instead, it reframes them, helping you enjoy life as it is. Over time, this practice of returning to the present will become second nature, allowing you to live with more engagement, joy, and purpose. As we wrap up this journey through Stoic wisdom, remember that these timeless principles are meant to be lived. Each lesson, whether it's mastering your reactions, embracing adversity, or staying anchored in the present, is a tool to help you lead a life of greater resilience, purpose, and peace. The Stoics believed that wisdom isn't a destination, but a path we walk daily, growing stronger and more grounded with each step. Now, if you found even one of these lessons inspiring or useful, why not keep this conversation going? Drop a comment with the lesson that resonated most with you, or maybe even one you're already putting into practice. Let's build a community of like-minded people on this path of self-growth, learning together and supporting each other along the way. And if you want to continue exploring ways to live a meaningful, grounded life, don't forget to hit subscribe and give this a thumbs up. That way, you won't miss out on the next steps in your journey to resilience and fulfillment. Here's to embracing life with strength, wisdom, and a true sense of purpose.